Hi, this is Marissa Beyer. I'm a senior wealth advisor with Fidato Wealth. Today is Wednesday, November 16th, 2022, and I am really excited today to talk about Social Security with a longtime professional that I know, Brandon Smith. Brandon is the public affairs specialist, a public affairs specialist for our local office, and he's been with Social Security for just under 20 years. So we're going to talk about updates to 2023, best practices for Social Security, and just some kind of new updates that we want to make sure that clients are aware of. So welcome, Brandon. Thank you for talking with me this morning and being a great resource for all of our clients.
Thank you, Marissa. You know, it's always a pleasure getting the opportunity to spend some time with you and chat about our favorite subject, Social Security.
It is. Well, it's an important one and one that really affects a lot of people. So, and there are some exciting changes for 2023. I know getting more money is always exciting. So that'll be the first thing that we talk about. So why don't you kind of share changes that are coming, in 2023 and what people can expect?
Yeah, absolutely. So the agency in mid-October did announce that there's going to be a cost living increase, a cost living adjustment for people going into 2023. It's going to be 8.7%. And I know sometimes people say, well, how much is my check going to go up? It'll be 8.7% greater than it is now. People will start to receive that increase in their January payment. If you're receiving supplemental security income, better known as SSI, that check will be paid on December 30th. Benefits aren't paid on weekends and aren't paid on federal holidays. January 1st is obviously New Year's Day. People that are receiving Social Security, retirement, spousal, survivor, disability benefits will see that increase in their check paid on either January 3rd or the second, third, or fourth Wednesday of the month of January, because December checks are paid in the month of January. So coming up a little bit after the holidays, you'll see that increase in your benefit payment.
Now, people will receive their annual award letter update in December, right? That will tell them what the new amount is, correct?
Correct. So, just check out the mail, unless you've already signed up for a My Social Security account to get your notices electronically. And yes, sometime in the month of December, you should get the letter that'll let you know how much your checks will be going into January of 2023.
Okay, great. So that'll be good. After the holidays, everyone needs a little extra money, and it'll be nice to know that inflation's been a little higher the last several months, so that Social Security recognizes that and is making sure to keep up with the pace of inflation, because a lot of recipients we know are counting on that Social Security for the vast majority of their retirement income. Okay, what about those of us that are not collecting? So maybe those of us that are still working, we're all gladly paying into Social Security to make sure that we're funding everybody that's still collecting. We have to keep paying into a certain amount, which seems like that got a fairly big increase as well.
Yeah, so there's a maximum taxable amount that people pay into Social Security. You pay 6.2% if you're an employee into Social Security up to a certain amount. That amount in 2022 is $147,000. That maximum taxable amount is going to go up to $160,200 for 2023. So if you take two individuals, one person making 170 grand and another person making 300 grand, they are going to be both paying a little bit more into Social Security next year. Once again, that maximum taxable amount, $160,200. For those of us that are still striving to become eligible for Social Security benefits, your clients may be aware, the listeners, the viewers may be aware that you need to work and pay into the system for at least 10 years on a part-time basis. Those 10 years of work don't have to be consecutive. Over the course of 10 years of work, you would earn something called 40 credits or 40 quarters of coverage. A person can earn up to 4 credits per year. In 2022, a credit of coverage is earned for every $1,510 that you make. That amount for a credit is going up to $1,640 for 2023. So you'll need to make a little bit more money in 2023 to earn the 4 credits towards the 40 that you would need for benefit eligibility. Those that are on the fence about applying for benefits, you can work and earn a little bit more in 2023 and still receive your benefits. for people that will be under their full retirement age.
Mm.
In 2022, that amount was 19,560. In 2023, that amount is 21,240. So let's say an individual is watching us now, and they are going to be 64 years old next year, and they're like, you know what, can I work and receive benefits? You can. You can make up to 21,240 if you're going to work the entire year and still receive all of your checks. For the listeners, the viewers that are going to reach their full retirement age next year, they can make up to $56,520 in the months before they reach that age. So let's say August is their full retirement age next year. We would only care about how much money they would make through the end of July. And in those months, they can make up to $56,520 and still receive all of their checks. So you can make a little bit more money next year being 2023, and collect benefits. And you're going to get a little bit more if you're already collecting benefits next year.
Now, for those of us that are still working, is it the benefits, the final primary insurance, is it based on the highest 30 years or the highest 35 years of working?
Your benefit amount is based on the percentage of the monthly average of your highest 35 years of work. And yeah.
What if you only have 33? So then are the last 2 years, are they just assumed as zeros then?
Yeah, we're going to use zeros. So, and I choose my words carefully because sometimes as adults, we have very selective hearing. You only need 10 years of work paid into Social Security to collect a check. The amount of that check is going to be based on 35 years, even if some of those years are zeros. Social Security is not telling you that you must work for 35 years. Work as long as you want to, have to. But of course, if we're looking at everything in a vacuum, if you had a twin sibling and you guys made the exact same amount of money over the exact same number of years, but your brother or sister stopped working after 17 years, and you worked for 37, 38, 39 years, well, yeah, your check's going to be larger because they have a bunch of zeros calculated into the formula.
Okay. Awesome. What about, so say we have clients maybe that are reaching full retirement age, next year, and they're getting ready. Typically, we tell them to start the process about 3 months in advance because we know that we want to make sure it's timely. If there's information that they need to get to Social Security, we know that it is a process. But I guess if someone is thinking about, they're ready to sign up for their Social Security benefits, before they go ahead and reach out to you, what are the areas or information that they, need to come to you guys with? It's not like they're going to come with a shoebox of stuff. We obviously try to have our clients be as prepared as possible. But what do you recommend in terms of, all right, I'm ready to go to Social Security. Like, what should they have ready and available before they, make that phone appointment or set that appointment at the local office?
Sure. And please understand that this is really general information. Everybody's circumstances are going to be different, but simply put, one of the most simple things you're going to need is your Social Security number, not the last 4 digits, not the last 6. We need the entire Social Security number. And that would apply to your family members as well. So if you're contemplating applying for benefits, we need to know about your spouse, assuming that you are married. So the name of your spouse, their Social Security number, their date of birth, the date of the marriage, the location of marriage. If you're no longer married because of divorce or that person's unfortunate passing, we need to know about that as well. When did the marriage end? Why did it end? If it was a divorce, you may want to have your divorce decree readily available. I'm not telling you to spend your hard-earned money on any documents because it may not be relevant in your individual situation, but better safe than sorry. If you have marriage certificates and divorce decrees readily available, you may want to just, dig them up there in the basement or somewhere just to be on the safe side. Of course, the routing and account number for direct deposit purposes, we're not sending paper checks anymore. If you were in the military, we may ask you about your military service. If you are going to receive benefits from a job in which you didn't pay into Social Security, we need to know about those public benefits. If you have children, minor children under the age of 18, children that are as old as 19 that are still a full-time student or full-time students in high school, if you have disabled adult children that were disabled before turning 22, will want their names and social security numbers as well, because it's possible that your children might qualify for benefits on your work record. And of course, if you're still working, we'll need to know what your work plans are. How much do you expect to make? What are your work plans? Just so that we properly code everything in the system. So your name, your marital situation with your children, banking information, military service, stuff that, knock on wood, we would hope that you would have, at your fingertips.
Okay, great. Now I know obviously when COVID happened, Social Security did shut down, and even, a little while after, and everyone's sort of back in being in the office. And I know that offices are open, but there are some functions or things that you can do in the office, some that are actually probably easier to do. And, you can also do it in a more timely manner, maybe online or on the phone. So I guess, from your perspective, what are things that, might be a little bit better, or that you have to go into the office for, versus those that it might be easier and, a little less painful to do, maybe online via my Social Security, or just, via a phone appointment.
When possible, we would suggest that people turn to the website initially, just because the website's always going to be available to you, whether you're on a laptop, tablet, you're using your ubiquitous smartphone to pull up information. You can apply for benefits on our website, ssa.gov or socialsecurity.gov. On personal, my parents both applied for their retirement benefits online. My dad's a couple of years older than mom. Neither one of them felt like they needed to go to an office. They waited until their full retirement age. There was just one marriage. They only have one child, an angel like myself. So that's what worked out best, for them. It's a classic case if you got to know thyself. You can apply online for retirement, spousal, disability, and Medicare benefits online. You can apply for supplemental security income in some instances online. The good thing about applying online, you can do it every single day of the year, Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 1 a.m., Saturdays, 5 a.m. to 11, Sundays, 8 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. Regardless of the weekend. So if a certain football team that plays in the lakefront has gotten on your nerves, you can apply online for benefits to take your mind off those fumbles or interceptions. Some people, that's just a natural thing to do. Others, they may want to give us a call. Toll-free national number is 1-800-772-1213 to schedule a phone appointment, because you cannot apply for survivor benefits on our website. Speaking of offices, our offices did reopen for face-to-face interaction, including for those without appointments in early April 2022. I talked about this before. Everyone's definition of Greater Cleveland is sort of different. So in Cuyahoga County alone, there are 8 offices to serve you, 4 in the city limits, 4 in the suburbs. There's also there's 2 offices in Summit County. There's an office in Lorain County, Lake County, Medina, so forth and so on. My running joke is you point your car in almost any direction. As long as you don't get to the lake, you'll probably run into a Social Security office. The local offices are open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. We are closed to the public on weekends. We are closed on the 11 federal holidays. Look, if you're going to go to the office, you do have to understand that there could be a wait depending on the day, depending on how many other people are there ahead of you. So people just do need to sort of be prepared for that. 7 of the 8 offices in Cuyahoga County do have free parking. I'm based out of the federal building downtown. So you'd have to take that into consideration if you're taking public transportation and driving, not to discourage you, but I just want to be tactfully honest with the public. If you're going to come to the office, once again, the same information I just mentioned, you'll want to make sure you know all that stuff, if marital situations, your Social Security number, your routing and account number. But hundreds of questions can be answered online or over the phone. So and a lot of instances, a person may not need to physically come to the office to take care of their services.
No, and I would agree. I mean, I've helped several clients over the years file for Social Security online. The My Social Security makes it extremely easy. The website's up to date and it's pretty user friendly. So, from that perspective, I like the fact that you can apply online. You can get an immediate copy of your application. You have it there. you have your application number if you would ever need to follow up. And it's just nice that you can kind of see everything in real time. And also if you need to, you can start the application and save and go back if something comes up. So I like the fact that you have that flexibility, and I agree, it is personal, preference, but I think there's a lot of very valuable things that you can do online that just makes, having to avoid a trip to do something, just you can do something more productive instead of taking a drive to the Social Security office. Okay.
Yeah, and I'll say this. If a person needs to know whether or not they're eligible for benefits, we've got you. If a person wants benefit estimates on their record or the record of a spouse or ex-spouse or late spouse, absolutely. We don't offer advice regarding when you should take benefits. And I've had the pleasure of doing this job. I've been with the agency, like I said, almost 20 years, even though I'm still very youthful because I keep hydrated, like you mentioned before. I don't want people to think, well, Social Security will tell me when I should take benefits, or I'm on the fence, but I'm waiting for Social Security to sort of help me pick the time. That's not what we do. Like, so we are not financial advisors. We're not financial planners. So I don't know if you even want us to be involved in the decision on when you should take your benefits. Because as far as we're concerned, that is a personal decision and everybody's circumstances are different. And of course, not to be flippant, none of us know when we're going to, leave this mortal realm. So it's impossible to say this is the best time for me to take benefits. Of course, if you're relatively healthy, if you don't need the money, and if, knock on wood, you're going to live, to be your advanced golden years, maybe you'd contemplate waiting because you have the ability to. But if you need the money now, if you meet the qualifications, take the money now. As far as we're concerned, there's nothing inherently wrong with taking the benefit early. There's nothing inherently right by waiting. It really is, a decision that works best for you and your family.
Well, the good news is we definitely have clients covered with that. I mean, we do look at that pretty extensively for all of our clients. And it is something that we've been looking at more recently as well. We typically review it, especially as clients retire. So the good news is, I know anyone that works with us, they would definitely not be asking you guys for that information. But I understand some people don't realize that there are certain things that you guys can do great and information that you can provide. But again, your job is not to guide them on when they should apply, but just how to apply, how much they can expect, when they can expect it, which are very important things. But the logistics and details around what is, the most optimal time frame or, period for them to begin collecting benefits, again, given their situation, varies from person to person. And that definitely makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Whenever someone says, I want you to help me maximize my benefit, I got to do the shoulder shrug. I don't know what that means. I mean, if you want to get the largest check possible, wait as long as you can and make as much money as you can. I mean, but that's overly simplistic. Some people don't have that ability. I'm having some health related issues, or I just want to spend some time with family or friends or the grandkids or myself, and you don't want to be working anymore. And like I said, we're here for you, but we just can't. That's just one decision we can't make. The when to take it is something we can't help with.
Well, we definitely can. So that's where us working together is great, because we can help guide clients to what that, optimization or maximization is, and really what they're possibly, giving up, or, if they do defer, how that might help their financial plan. And then it's good to know that once we have that clear path that makes the best sense for them financially, that you guys are there to kind of guide them through all the logistics.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that we were talking earlier about, maybe something that's more new, that some people might not be aware of in Social Security or through Social Security. And you actually told me about something that I was not aware of, which I think is really important to share, with our clients. So more recently, Social Security added something called an advanced designation of representative payee. And this is only for people that are collecting. So just to be clear, so obviously myself and Brandon, we are still working. Unfortunately, we are not collecting benefits. We're several decades from that. But for those clients that are collecting, if you would ever not be able to handle, details for Social Security, the benefits that you're receiving on your own, you can add this representative payee, this advanced designation representative payee to your account, and they would be able to basically step in for you. You can add up to 3 people. So this is something newer that's available. And Brandon and I were just looking at this before we, started this. You can actually do it via My Social Security. You can do it over the phone, or there is actually a form that you can submit in order to do this. Now, one of the things that Brandon also shared as we were talking about this, which I found very interesting, was great that they have this option. And I would definitely encourage all of our clients that are receiving benefits to go ahead and add that advance designation of representative payee. And again, this is someone that you trust that would be able to act on your behalf, or if there was questions or issues with your benefits, they could step in for you. One of the things that you shared, Brandon, is that Social Security doesn't, now that they don't have the ability to effectively recognize a financial power of attorney, a general power of attorney. So I know a lot of our clients have done their estate plans, which is great. They do have those agents for financial power of attorneys designated. But Social Security doesn't have the ability to recognize those at this time, correct?
Right. So the Treasury Department doesn't recognize power of attorney for negotiating federal payments, including SSI checks and Social Security benefits. So even if you are someone's power of attorney, if you're trying to make changes to their Social Security record because they're no longer able to manage those affairs, you'd still have to apply to be that person's representative payee. And representative payee, once again, it's just for handling a person's benefits because they no longer have the ability to. So, for example, we don't pay children in most instances directly. So let's say, I'm 62 years old. I've got a 17-year-old junior at home. I start collecting my benefits. We're not paying my son or daughter directly. So I would be, or, a spouse, another family member would be that child's representative payee. So the checks would be paid to the payee for the child. And the money is supposed to be used for, the beneficiary's needs, or saved if not currently needed. Same thing with power of attorney. And I choose my words carefully. Like, we're not trying to upset the apple cart, and we understand that family dynamics are what they are. And I'm sure that there are hundreds of thousands, millions of adult children that are assisting their parents or other family members with their financial affairs. That's fine. But if it ever became an instance where, oh wow, I need to contact Social Security to update address or change address or change financial institution, you being the power of attorney doesn't allow you to do that. You'd still have to apply to be the payee, because otherwise we're going to assume that the beneficiary has the capability to manage their affairs until we find out otherwise. Same thing if you're the legal guardian. That's great, but that in itself doesn't give you the power to change stuff on their affairs, on behalf of their affairs, unless you have also applied to be the payee. And if you are the guardian, we want to see the guardianship papers when you're applying to be the person's payee.
Okay, well, that's really kind of helpful to kind of better understand. But no, I think it's a great ability that Social Security has, particularly because they don't recognize that power of attorney. So, for any of our clients that are collecting right now, or once you do begin collecting soon, I would definitely encourage you to add that advanced designation of representative payee. If you never need it, great. But if something were to come up and you would need it, and you were not able to handle those benefits, or there need to be changes, then you have that person. Again, it's just one thing that you can have available to you. And if the need arises, then you already have that in place, and one less thing. A lot of what we do is to help clients make their financial life as smooth as possible. We want you to be out, enjoying retirement, enjoying hobbies, time with family. We want to try to help you work out all of the possibilities and probabilities of things that could happen. Keep cash flow as straight as possible. Anything that we can do, tips and tricks to help along the way. Definitely happy to share, which is great. And it's always just good to kind of hear about these updates to make sure, hey, we do have everything in place. We are, maximizing what we can. We're taking advantage. And again, you hope that you never have to use some of these things, but life happens, and that's why we have financial planning, to be able to pivot. We have a plan, we pivot if things change. And that's why we're so happy to work with so many great families. I guess, Brandon, before we wrap up, is there anything else that you can think of, helpful going into the new year for people to know, or just kind of things to keep in mind?
No, I mean, just if you don't already have a My Social Security account, you may want to contemplate creating one. You can do that free of charge at ssa.gov/myaccount or socialsecurity.gov/myaccount. If you're not receiving benefits yet, you can pull up your statement, you can get benefit estimates, you can apply for a replacement Social Security card online. If you're already receiving benefits, you can use the My Social Security account to change your address, telephone number, direct deposit. You can use it to request a 1099 for tax purposes. You can get a benefit verification letter. You can request a replacement Medicare card. If you're on disability or SSI and working, you can report your wages via the My Social Security portal. Um,
So
I would
lots of stuff.
lots of stuff. And as the holidays are coming up and you're going to see family and friends and be traveling, and this has nothing to do with the holidays, but we would suggest don't carry your Social Security card with you. There's probably no need on a day-to-day basis for you to have it with you. We would suggest you keep it in a safe place with the other important documents. But let's say you have lost your card, you need to get a replacement. You got a couple options. Once again, that My Social Security account allows you to request a replacement card as long as there's no changes. If you do need to make changes, maybe you need to change your name, or maybe there's an age issue that needs to be corrected, you can still go to our website, socialsecurity.gov. You click on where it says Social Security number, and there's an online application that you can fill out that will then give you a confirmation number, and you have about 45 days to go into the local office with your documentation. The birth certificate, in most instances, is not ID. Driver's license, state ID, passport is what we would need for ID. We can also accept, if you have work ID or military ID, school ID in some instances, health insurance cards other than a Medicaid card. If you've obviously changed your name, we need to see the documentation that shows it's if it was a marriage or a divorce or a legal name change. You can come in with those documents. Now, if there's an age discrepancy, then we would want to see an original or certified copy of the birth certificate. But if your name is Brandon Smith and you just need to get a replacement card, the birth certificate on its own isn't ID. Driver's license, state ID, passport are the three preferred documents that we would need to see.
Okay. All right, great. Well, Brandon, thank you so much for taking the time today and providing updates. Just kind of three big takeaways, I'd say. The first is for those of our clients that are collecting, keep an eye out for those annual renewal or your annual letter that'll come in December. That'll include that 8.7% cost of living adjustment that'll start in January. Very exciting. If you are receiving benefits and you have not previously added that advanced designation of representative payee, I would encourage you to do that and to look into that. And then, for those of us still working, keep in mind that the money that we will have to pay into Social Security next year is going in. I know that for people, when they reach that limit and then their paycheck goes up a little bit, you get a little excited because you're no longer paying. So just kind of be aware that amount is going up, as Brandon said, to the $160,200. Again, if there's anything that we can do to help you as your financial advisors here at Fedado with regard to Social Security, please feel free to reach out to us. We are here to help, navigate you through all of these different changes with your comprehensive financial plan. Again, thank you so much to Brandon. It's always great to see you. And we hope that everyone out there stays happy and healthy for the rest of 2022. Bye.